Hey y'all, welcome back. We are on Discerning the Voice of God, week 5, day 3. I'm so glad you guys are here. I hope you guys had a blessed week. So let's get started. The title is called Timing is Everything. So let's pray and get started. Precious Daddy, we praise you for this day, Lord. We thank you for whatever weather we're having, Father. We thank you for your bountiful, gracious provisions that you've provided for us today, Lord. Most importantly, we thank you for the breath of life and another day to bring glory to you, Father. And we just pray, Lord, that you will just give us your wisdom and your discernment and your understanding throughout your word and your Bible study, Father, to show us what you want us to learn today, Father, not only about us, but about the world around us, Lord, and mostly about you, Father, so we can be more like you, so we can hear your still small voice, and so that we can follow you in all ways, Lord. And we just praise you for what you are about to do, Lord. Bless everyone on this Bible study, Father. Lead and guide us like only you can, and do what only you can do in our lives, Father. We give you all the glory and honor and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, page 147, timing is everything. So Jan Johnson says that this thief's voice, unlike God's voice, threatens and intimidates on the basis of fear. If you don't do this, you'll be sorry. It may order you or try to force you to do things. It is often urgent and pressing, sermonizing and demeaning. Do this now. If you wait, all will be lost. So that's very true. God is not like that. And so if you're hearing something like that, you darn well know that it is not of God. So everything that I'm about to say is true about me. I'm impatient. I admit it. I'm a get it done kind of girl, ready to move forward to the next thing as soon as I know there's a next thing to move on to. That is me. Or that was me, I should say. Very impatient. Move, move, move. Go, go, go. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And I still do that, with my kids. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And so I'm trying to slow down and have patience. So Habakkuk 2:3 on the side says, the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hastens towards the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it will certainly come. It will not delay. So she says, how about you? Are you naturally inclined toward patience or impatience? Before a few weeks ago, I would absolutely 100% say impatience. Now I'm a lot more patient, but I'm definitely not perfect in it. And God is changing me day by day in that. So she says, I'm coming to grips with the fact that my resistance to waiting and my natural aversion to unforeseen delays and detours can be one of my greatest hindrances to hearing God's voice and accurately discerning his plan. Yep, that would be me. Impatience is a thief that robs us of the best path because we are not willing to wait for it to be revealed. Instead, we lurch forward onto whatever pathway we can find and hope for the best. Yet the purposes of God not only include specific plans, but also specific timing. Our steps are ordered. The mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16:9. When he speaks, it is in concert with his perfect timing to accomplish his prescribed agenda, not our own. So the fill-ins, when God speaks, it is in concert with his perfect timing to accomplish his prescribed agenda. Nothing catches God off guard. That's why whenever you feel rushed or hurried to make a decision, whenever your next step is not rooted in a deep confidence of inner peace, this alone is an indication that God probably hasn't spoken. He is never late and never behind schedule. On the contrary, he patiently and persistently gives us guidance before requiring obedience. So she says to read John 10:2-4 in the margin, he who enters by the door is a shepherd of the sheep. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he puts forth all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. She said, underline the portions that clearly characterize the way our shepherd leads. So I put, he enters by the door. So he's not a thief or anything. He's entering by the door. The doorkeeper opens it. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. He puts forth all his own and goes ahead of them. So she says he leads them out. Our shepherd leads. He doesn't drive. One difference between the enemy's voice and the shepherd's voice is that Jesus doesn't coerce us with fear or intimidation. He doesn't push and force. He gently guides, encourages, and woos. So she asked, do you feel rushed to make a decision right now? And I put no. And she said, what do God's pre-planned purposes suggest to you about the pressures of making rushed decisions? And I put, I have to wait on his leading, timing, and guidance. I need to follow and not run ahead. I have to trust in the waiting and listen. So she says, if you truly believe that God will speak to you in the appropriate time, you should never feel hurried or pressured to make a decision. If you aren't clear on something, stay put. Don't move. Only when God has spoken to you will you be cued to respond in obedience. Till then, remain committed to the last thing he told you to do to the best of your ability. Because listen, waiting is not the same as an activity. Waiting is a commitment to continue in obedience till God speaks. And that was huge for me because I'm not a waiting person. I want things now. You know, we live in that generation of now. If it's not fast, it ain't good enough. And so I always thought that waiting was, I had to do something in the waiting. And waiting is doing something. It's waiting for God to reveal his will and what he wants me to do next. And the thing that he wants us to do while we're waiting is to continue doing what we were already doing, number one, but to also worship and to trust him. So she says, on those occasions when a decision must be made by a certain date or time, filter your choices through the 5 M's and then consider 2 things. Which option will, 1, give God the most glory, or 2, cause your relationship with him to flourish in some specific way? Many Christians, and I'm talking about the active, diligent ones, while well-intentioned in their pursuit to hear God, are living tense lives. They nervously look high and low for spiritual specifics and then grow dismayed when they can't find the answers in their own timing. Even with a clear conscience to guide them, they're sure they're somehow secretly, subtly failing God, or else he'd be more forthcoming, telling them everything they want to know right now. Trust him. To trust his plan and his timing. Breathe deeply with the knowledge that his purposes have been specifically calculated with you and his larger designs in mind. Then allow yourself the freedom to sit back and wait, listening for his next message to come whenever he knows the time is right. Don't succumb to the anxiety of pressure. If he hasn't said more to you yet, it's because you don't need to know more yet. Trust him in this. Commit to doing what's right in front of you now with the faithful simplicity, confident that this is the pace of God's will for your life today. Trusting in God's timing also gives us renewed perspective on delays. Delays are only detours. Life interruptions are only divine interventions that put you in position to experience not only his best for you personally, but also his larger comprehensive plan for humanity. So she says, consider Elizabeth and Zechariah's situation in Luke 1:6-7, which says, and they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, blameless. And they had no child, because that Elizabeth was barren, and they both were now well stricken in years. And she says, describe their circumstance and how it connects to today's lesson. So they continued to walk in righteousness and follow God and his ways blamelessly, even in the waiting. They had to wait for God's timing. They could not walk ahead of it. They could not lag behind. They had to wait to hear God speak, and they had to wait for his perfect timing, because in all of this, it had to be perfect timing. So she says, I wonder how long they waited, this couple, how many times their hopes had been dashed when Elizabeth's body confirmed month after month that she still wasn't pregnant. Their dreams had been delayed and put on hold again. And yet, one day, in the midst of his priestly duties, Zechariah saw an angel beside the altar of incense who said to him, your petition has been heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, one who will turn many of the sons of Israel back to the Lord their God. But the angel's announcement didn't stop there. So she says, what other distinguishing characteristic did the angel reveal to Zechariah in regard to this child at the end of verse 17? So the end of verse 17 says, and they had no child. Oops, wrong one. I'll just read the whole verse. And he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elias, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. So what was significant about the timing of John the Baptist's birth? He was to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. He was preparing the way for the coming of the Messiah, Jesus. So if they would have rushed ahead, or if God, if something had happened, it wouldn't have been the right timing. They had to wait. And for all of us who are waiting for whatever it is, we need to trust God's timing, because just in this story alone, God's timing is perfect. He's never late. He is an on-time God. And we just need to trust that. Even if it's not according to our timing, it's according to his. And his is perfect and ours is not. So she says, from Zechariah and Elizabeth's perspective, their inability to conceive a child had perhaps seemed to make no sense. Why would God do this? How could he allow this? Yet his plan had not merely been for them to have a child, but to have this child with a special mission carried out in conjunction with redemptive history. The timing was perfect. Every single delay, even every single disappointment, had been for a reason. So she says, consider Joseph from the Old Testament. There are quite a few verses to look up, but taking the time will be worth it. For each portion of Scripture lists the detours that could have derailed his life. So Genesis 37:23 through 24 says, and it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. So his being cast into a pit and forsaken by his brothers was my answer. Genesis 37:28. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. So he was sold as a slave and brought to Egypt, far away from his home and family. He had no control of the outcome. Genesis 39:1, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. So he was bought by Potiphar, officer of the Pharaoh. He still had no control. He was a slave. But he was being set up for where God wanted him to be. Genesis 39:11 through 20. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, see, He hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. So Joseph did the right thing. He didn't sleep with her. He didn't go by her advances and sleep with her. He did the right thing. He stayed a godly man. But he was not believed, and his owner put him in jail. So now he's just absolutely no control. He's having to do what everybody else is telling him to do. And I'm sure he's sitting there thinking, what in the world is going on? First I was sold as a slave, now this. Where is God? Just like we all think, where are you, Lord? Genesis 40:14-23 says, But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house, which was jail. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. So he asked for help from the butler to get him out of jail, but he forgot about him because it was not time yet. It was not God's timing yet. So how did all of these delays and disappointments ultimately position Joseph for his destiny? Genesis 41:39-40. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So Pharaoh brought him out of jail and gave him the second highest authority to save the people from the drought, through the wisdom of God and revealing his will. Genesis 42:1-6-8 says, Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. So I said, through this, God brought his brothers back into his life. Genesis 45:4-8 says, And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. So he revealed himself and told them that it was God's will for their choices, so that he could save their lives and many other lives. And so Joseph had realized what the purpose was. He could look back upon his life and see all the steps that God was taking to get him into the position that he was in now. Genesis 50:20 says, But as for you, Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. So his brothers were doing it for evil purposes, for evil intentions, but God can always change it for good to save many people. So there's an appointed time for everything, and there's a time for every event under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. And not just everything, but your everything, my everything. The delays that frustrate you the most, even those that come as the result of another person's carelessness or error, do not override the intentionality of God's purposes. And I have to say, even our carelessness and errors do not override the intentionality of God's purposes. Life's delays are often divine detours, positioning you in the best place for God's plans to be served in your life. Much of our frustration in hearing God centers around the issue of timing. We want to know more than He wants to reveal, and we want to know it now. John 16:12 says, I have many more things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the time is right for you to know more, He'll tell you. Until then, the things that He's already shown to be His will for you are the only things you need for victory. These are the things you need to know now, and for which you will be held accountable now. Ask Him to give you the courage to fully engage in what He has put before you today, as well as the faithfulness to stay on the path until He gives you different or new directions. Keep a firm confidence in His purposes, His plans, and His perfect timing. So I thank you for joining me today. I'm trying to think about what Bible study I want to do next. If you guys have any choices, desires, if God's placing anything on your heart for us to do, please put it in the comment section. I'd love to know your input and your desires. I'm actually thinking about doing, I have a Bible study, and I'll remember which one it is from her father that I was thinking about doing. I can't remember which one it is right now. I got to go dig through my stuff. But we are getting to be about that time here soon. So, be praying on it, and I will be praying on it. And if, like I said, if you have any, requests or, options, let me know. And I pray you guys all have a blessed week, and I will see you next time. Take care.